What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the Detroit Lions quarterback, Matthew Stafford, and whether or not the Detroit Lions may actually trade him during the season. Well, I'm here to tell you that they won't. Let's get it started.
You know, I got to shout out DoseOfDion, man, because it was actually the first time I went live on YouTube. And, you know, guys don't know DoseOfDion. He put out a lot of good content for the Detroit Lions.
Welcome in, everybody, to another video. Glad you guys are here. And yes, we are talking about Matthew Stafford. And it seems like this little rumor, or maybe conspiracy theory, I don't even know what you would call this, whatever it is that's going on right now with potentially Matthew Stafford getting traded, seems to be gaining a little bit more traction. And maybe the Lions will trade Matthew Stafford during the year. Well, in today's video, I'm going to tell you why they won't trade Matthew Stafford during the year. I'm just straight up telling you why it won't happen. And now, yesterday we did a video on this, and I thought I'd dive a little bit deeper into it today because it continues to come up, and I continue to see this stuff on social media. So let's dive into it. But before we get into that, as you guys can see in the corner, Flick Chat, make sure you guys go join my group on Flick Chat. The link is in the top of the description. I will also put it in the comment section. All you have to do is click the link and then click join, and boom, you're in. All of a sudden, you're going to join a whole bunch of Detroit Lions fans. We get to have fun over there, quizzes, polls, and we will be live for games over there so we can all chat together. Plus, if you enter now, before I do my giveaway, which is at 100 followers, we're currently already over 90, you are automatically going to be entered into a giveaway to potentially win a free DoseOfDion 2.0 shirt. So make sure you hurry in, okay? Don't miss out on this opportunity. I haven't done the giveaway yet, but it's going to be very soon. So make sure you get in as soon as possible. Now, let's get into today's video. So we did a little bit of video on this yesterday, and we talked kind of on the surface about potentially Matthew Stafford being traded to Dallas. But it seems to be gaining some more traction. I see possible trade destinations. I mean, this stuff seems to be getting a little bit deeper, and I know maybe there's not the most to talk about right now, but yeah, I mean, it is hashtag Jacksonville week, so there's some things to talk about. But this seems to be kind of just floating around, like some kind of idea that Matthew Stafford could legitimately be traded during this season. Now, yesterday, when I talked about this, I said that the only way I could see Matthew Stafford, any way possible, be traded this year is if Bob Quinn is told that he is going to be part of the future GM for the Detroit Lions, and the Lions get rid of Matt Patricia. All right, that's the only way I see it. Then, even then, the Detroit Lions would have to get an outrageously good offer that Bob Quinn simply can't deny. And that would be coming from a team that would have to be willing to give up a huge offer that probably thinks they're just a quarterback away from potentially winning the Super Bowl this year. That's what it would take. And also, Matthew Stafford would have to go there, learn the system. The trade deadline is getting closer. There would be so many things going into it. That would all have to happen for Matthew Stafford to be traded. That's the only very slim scenario where this could happen. But I'm here to tell you that probably won't happen, all right? And in today's video, we're going to dive into the reasons why Matthew Stafford won't be going anywhere this season. Now, after the season, there's a completely different situation. There's a completely different conversation, and we will have that. But as of now, there's no way Matthew Stafford's going to be traded this season. And here's why. The first reason, it would make no sense. All right, guys, let's be honest with ourselves. If Matt Patricia said, all right, Matthew Stafford, we're going to trade you, Matt Patricia's going to be fired too. So it wouldn't make any sense for Matt Patricia to go for Matt Patricia to trade Matthew Stafford away. Not when he's part of the head coaching staff. Our regime would just get fired. They'd be like, okay, you guys are out of here. Like clearly you guys have no idea what you're doing. You guys are out of here. Trading away Matthew Stafford would be the ultimate dumbest thing that Matt Patricia could honestly do. One of the biggest reasons that Matt Patricia came here, if not the biggest reason he decided to take the Detroit Lions head coaching job, is because we had a quarterback in place that could win football games, and he knew how difficult it was to find a quarterback and how he already had the luxury of working with the talented one in Matthew Stafford, okay? While may not be the best quarterback, it's very tough to find one. So he's looking at this thing, okay, I want to go to Detroit. I want to have a quarterback already there in Matthew Stafford that I can build with. And we've heard him talk about Matthew Stafford. And honestly, Stafford with Darrell Bevel has been really good. 2019, his first 8 games, Matthew Stafford was on pace to have his best season we've ever seen. The dude was a monster. And yes, this season's been a little slow. Honestly, hasn't been as bad as some people are looking at it, but it's been a little bit slower. However, it would make no sense for Matt Patricia to be a part of this organization and want to trade away Matthew Stafford during the year. They're just going to get rid of Matt Patricia. The Lions already told Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia that, hey, we expect to be a playoff contender. All right, so that's your mandate. You need to be a playoff contender. So why would Matt Patricia turn around and say, you know what, you're right, let me trade away Matthew Stafford? It doesn't help him. You think draft picks is what he wants right now? No, he wants to win football games. One player that can will his team to a win is Matthew Stafford. Maybe we shouldn't have won the game. He had 8 fourth quarter comebacks in 2016. Our last playoff appearance, only one of our games was not a comeback. You think he's going to get rid of that? Now, I know some people are saying, well, we don't win with Matthew Stafford either. Okay, great. Yeah, we don't win with Matthew Stafford. Honestly, this franchise has never won football games. Let's first off say that. This franchise has historically never been a very good football team, at least in the Super Bowl era. But if we're talking about Matthew Stafford specifically, and we're talking about recently, the Lions can't win with Matthew Stafford. I feel like this is something that shouldn't even be brought up. If anybody even watched the Detroit Lions last year, and you didn't have to watch the Lions last year to know that when we didn't have him, this was one of the most difficult things to watch. The Lions offense basically was, it was completely different. It was nowhere near as exciting. It was way worse, and the Lions went 0-8 without him. If that doesn't tell you where the Lions are as a team without him, I don't know what does. I really don't. Finally got an opportunity to see what the Lions could do without Matthew Stafford, right? What does this team look like? And sure, it wasn't the best backups. It was David Blau and it was Jeff Driscoll. But we lost every game without him. Not only did we lose every game without him, this team was hard to watch. We literally just could not score points. There were games that we played in where it was like, yeah, we would have won if we would have had our starting quarterback. Like Washington, I think we would have beat that team with Matthew Stafford last season. And I know people are saying, well, we can't win with him. Well, here's the problem. In our last 12 games that Matthew Stafford has been our quarterback, going back to last season, all 8 games, and so far through this season, in his last 12 games, we've only lost to one above 500 team with Matthew Stafford. Think about it like that. We've only lost to one. Lost to one. Everybody else that we've lost to has been either a playoff team or above 500. The one team that we lost to in his last 12 games, our quarterback, is the Raiders on the 1 yard line. We were 1 yard away from tying that football game. That's the only team, and they were 7-9. We've only lost to one team below 500 in our last 12 games, with wins over some playoff teams, like the Arizona Cardinals, who are 3-2 right now, like the Philadelphia Eagles, who made the playoffs last season. Okay, we played all above 500 teams our first 4 games. Now we're going into a stretch of our next 7, where we're playing all teams except for the Colts that have a losing record. All teams that have a losing record except for the Colts. That's what it's looking like for the Detroit Lions. So I know it doesn't seem great because we're 1-3. It doesn't seem great and this team isn't playing very well. But trading away Matthew Stafford is just giving up on the season. And you don't do that with the coach that needs to win football games. Now I get it. If the Lions had their new coaches already in here, then okay, I can see why you're looking at this saying, all right, you know what? They can restart now if they get a great offer. It makes sense. But they don't have that. The Lions don't have that right now. If the Lions would have gotten rid of Matt Patricia during the bye week or before the bye week started, it's a different situation. But they still probably wouldn't have done it, but it's still a different situation where maybe you could have potentially saw it if the team really wanted to go get Matthew Stafford and give us a great offer. But that didn't happen. We kept Matt Patricia. We rightfully, in my opinion, kept Matt Patricia because we've only played 4 games. I know it's been tough, but guys, we played 4 teams above 500, and we should be 2-2. Think about it like this. What if DeAndre Swift catches that pass against the Bears? We're 2-2. We're feeling different. Matthew Stafford has 2 fourth-quarter comebacks. He's not off to his best start. His first game against the Bears was shaky at best. We should have still won the game, but it was shaky at best. There's no doubt about it. But still, in his last 2 weeks, he's posted up the same passer rating that he did last season as an average. He's posted the same passer rating that he did in his first 8 games last season, which was 106, which would have been the best of his career because 1, he's had Kenny Galladay, and 2, he's getting into the swing of things. The first game, look, it was his first game. He was knocking some rust off. The Packers game just went completely wrong. But in his last 2 games, he's looked not too bad. He hasn't looked that bad at all for the Detroit Lions. And even going based off of last year, he's only 1 touchdown and 1 interception behind his pace from last season with basically the exact same passing yards through 4 games. All right, so what we're saying here is that it doesn't make any sense for the Detroit Lions to say, all right, let's trade away Matthew Stafford right now. Not be letting your next regime decide. So let's say, for example, the Matt Patricia thing doesn't work and the Bob Quinn is gone as well. And they start the new regime. And all right, let's get our new general manager. Even if Bob Quinn is still here, but let's get our new general manager and a new head coach. All right, and then we'll kind of restart this thing during the offseason. The Lions decide to do that. Maybe it's right near the end of the year, whatever it may be. The Lions decide to do that. You would wait until the new guys came in to make that decision on what they want to do with Matthew Stafford. Because why would you make that decision before they got here? That doesn't make any sense. If anything, like Matt Patricia, remember it added the value for Matt Patricia coming here. He's like, oh, I actually have a quarterback. Who's to say that the next general manager / coach that comes in doesn't say, oh, I have a quarterback. Maybe I don't want to trade this guy away right away. Maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe I draft a quarterback to put behind him and get prepared for the future. But maybe I don't want to get rid of Matthew Stafford. I think we're just assuming that once this thing rebuilds that Matthew Stafford's going to be gone. We're saying that, hey, Matthew Stafford has to be gone if the Detroit Lions reset this year. No, we're saying that. The dude's 32 years old. And he still has a contract for the next 2 years, through the next 2 years. So the next guy's coming in could say, okay, well, hold up. We have Matthew Stafford 2 more years. Let's run him through his contract, and we'll draft someone to put behind him. That's what the Lions could look to be doing in their future. It doesn't necessarily mean they want to trade away Matthew Stafford. And even if they do, they want to at least make the decision on who they're going to trade him to. That way they can see what they're getting in return. That way they can negotiate. That way they can see what they're looking for in terms of draft picks, maybe getting players in return. It doesn't make any sense for the Lions to let Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia do it if they may not be part of the future. Why would you do that? Why? What? Oh, so we can have picks for the next guys. Just let the next guys make that decision. Matthew Stafford really is off to this slow start, which everybody is telling me, and I know it hasn't been his best start, no doubt. Why wouldn't you at least let him finish the year to potentially, I don't know, raise his value? If you really want to trade Stafford, raise his value. Matthew Stafford, his next 7 games, is not playing the competition that he played in the first 4 games. His next game against Jacksonville is one of the worst teams in the league against the pass, except for interceptions. They're not very good against the pass in terms of yards and things like that. So if you're ultimately potentially looking to trade him anyways, then why don't you let him try to raise his stock? Because again, trading him this year probably isn't going to happen. You're probably not going to find a suitor that you want. And what the heck is the point? Because you don't even know what the draft order is going to look like. Oh, great. So let's trade a guy for let's trade Stafford to a team that's going to be a Super Bowl, that could potentially look to be a Super Bowl team. That way we can get a pick at the end of the draft. And that's great. What is that going to do? Nothing. We're not going to get a quarterback with that. Maybe we get Jordan Love. Well, great. You don't have your veteran quarterback. And it's not like the Lions even have the option to put out Tua or Herbert or, whoever the quarterback they could have drafted this year. They didn't draft a single quarterback this year. They get rid of Stafford during the year. Chase Daniel stepping in. Great. That's what we want to see. Chase Daniel. What's the difference? Why have Chase Daniel step in when you could potentially turn things around with a good starting quarterback that's already proven he could beat the below 500 teams and turn around a season? He's already been on it. 2016, we turned around a season after 1-3 start. We won our next 8 of 9 games. He's already proven he can do that as a quarterback. So why would you want to be like, all right, let's just let Chase Daniel do it? A lot of the belief and confidence is lacked because, Matt Patricia is our head coach and we don't believe that, he can beat anybody. But if you look at the Detroit Lions last season in the 8 games that Matthew Stafford did not play in, we played the Bears twice, the Cowboys, right? The Buccaneers, the Redskins, who are now the football team. Those were, 5? And of those teams, the Bears were 8-8. The Cowboys went 8-8. The Bucs went 7-9. And the Redskins were below 500. And obviously, if you beat those teams, right, they're below 500. So if you look at that and say, okay, hold up. A lot of the teams that Matthew Stafford wasn't here for were teams that didn't finish above 500. We had to play all the above 500 teams early in the year. The Chiefs, the Packers, the Vikings, right? The teams that we did play that were below 500 when he was here last season, when he was healthy, we beat those teams. Yes, we tied the Arizona Cardinals. It wasn't a loss. We tied the Arizona Cardinals. We beat the Chargers, who were below 500, okay? We beat the Giants, who were below 500. Let's see if we can turn this thing around. And if we trade away Matthew Stafford now, we're probably going to get a draft pick that isn't going to be super high in the draft because it's probably going to be a team that's thinking they can make a Super Bowl push. Then you also don't know where that draft pick is going to land anyways. So do you really want to take that risk during the season when after the season you can just see where all the draft picks are, where they're going to line up for the next NFL draft? Focus on the prospects. The difference. I mean, you trade your quarterback now, you're restarting anyways. What's the difference between getting the picks now and later? What, we're excited? That's not going to make anybody excited. We're all just going to stop watching the games because we're going to be bored and be like, okay, there's no chance we're winning a football game. At least when Matthew Stafford's healthy, you're saying, okay, we may get to see some cool plays. We're going to score some points. But we know last year when he wasn't, it was like, man, I don't even want to watch these football games because now we're losing. It's just so boring. Assuming that this regime doesn't work out. You never know what they may be looking at this saying, let's keep Stafford. Okay? Because I know when you lose games, it makes everything look difficult. But we also have to understand, 1, how hard it is to find a quarterback. 2, Matthew Stafford's not playing as bad as what people are actually saying. And 3, we're 4 games into the season. I know it seems like the world of the sky is falling, but we're only 4 games into the season. I mean, this thing can turn around with a favorable schedule. Will it? I don't know. They got to go do it on the field. But trading him right now makes no sense. The Lions will not trade Matthew Stafford during the season. After the season, it's potential, right? It could happen. I wouldn't be shocked if it did happen, especially if new guys come in. Or even if the same guys are here, it could potentially happen. I don't know if it would, but it could happen. But to do it now, doing during the season, is probably the dumbest thing the Lions could do. It's probably the dumbest thing it's definitely the dumbest thing Matt Patricia could do. It would make no sense because he's just going to be gone. And the Lions, honestly, their owners probably would be looking at it saying, no, Patricia, you can't trade away him. You need to win football games. If you think your best bet is win football games with Chase Daniel, you're gone because we know that won't work. We saw last year. We don't need to see that again. Possibly our best value when it comes to a trade is Matthew Stafford. You could say Golladay, but Golladay needs a contract, right? Galladay's looking for a contract. Matthew Stafford has 2 more years left on his deal, and he's a quarterback. You're looking at him saying, okay, yeah, that guy we might be able to get something in return for. So why do it now? What? You don't have new head coach this year. The Lions didn't bring in new guys, and they didn't reset up their full games, right? They didn't do that. So since they didn't, you don't reset now during the season. What the heck's the point? Why would you do that? All right, hey, here's your, you have to reach this mandate, but after 4 games, we decided you didn't do that. Like, no. Matthew Stafford's going to be here for the rest of the season. He will finish off the year of the Detroit Lions unless some crazy wild stuff happens and Matt Patricia's gone and Bob Quinn stays and some team wants the quarterback to win a Super Bowl. And even in that scenario, I think we should be looking at that. If we're even bringing that up and saying, hey, look, well, the Niners might want him because they could win a Super Bowl with him. Doesn't that kind of tell you where Stafford is as a quarterback? Like a little bit, if teams view him as like that? We got a 49ers fan in the comment section below yesterday, and he said that he would want Matthew Stafford on the Niners. Of course he would. Of course he would. We're the only fans that know what Matthew Stafford. It's absolutely nuts. It's nuts. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, man. I am starting my podcast back up, so make sure you guys go follow me on Instagram and comment some questions so I can feature them on my podcast. Thank you, for watching, and I'm out. Are you kidding me right now? I had to put my helmet on for this one. Are you kidding? Look at this. Look at all these members. What? Yo, hey, shout out to all the members, man. Look how many All-Pro members there are. Like, literally, it's the whole screen, dog. This is crazy. The patrons, of course, the Hall of Fame members, man. Y'all got the gold color. It's kind of yellow, but it's supposed to be gold. Shout out to all the members, man. If you want to be a part of this, all you got to do is join the channel. But there are perks that come with it. Stay locked in the community tab if you are a member, because that's where a lot of information comes out. I appreciate all of you. What?